This episode of the Popture podcast was brought to you by our Patreon. If you want to tell us which films we should watch, listen to up to 2 extra exclusive podcasts a month, or give us something to discuss in our new post-credit scenes at the end of each episode, then please consider joining the cult and donating at www.patreon.com/cultpopture.
All right. So am I running this?
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. You can welcome.
No, I mean, I'm very happy for you guys to run this and hand over to me, or because it's you guys announced that this was happening. So
all right. So
you go for it.
Welcome to the Popture podcast, everybody. My name is AJ, and as usual, I'm joined by Richard.
Sup, bitches.
And today, in the virtual digital podcast studio, we're also joined by sometimes host Jeremy.
Hello.
And sometimes host Jess.
Kia ora.
And for those who have discovered us because of our crossover with the worst idea of all time, goodbye. Because this
is the worst episode to start with.
I don't know. We're in quarantine, as is most countries in the world. Is that true? That's probably not true. It feels like it's
different
a lot in other
stages
countries.
of
some form of social
things.
distancing.
Yeah. So we're all talking. The only two of us who are in the room are Richard and Jess. Everyone else is over the digital airways. And
because they were already lovers prior to the lockdown.
Well, spoilers.
So were us three boys.
I've noticed that a lot of people are doing digital quizzes as a way to, return to some kind of feeling of normal. Everyone's doing quizzes on YouTube.
I just won a quiz half an hour ago.
There you go.
Oh, congratulations.
And so we thought that because, and yes, I'm still talking about this, because we have now covered 100 film franchises, depending on how you count it, on our mainline show, Film Franchise Fortnights, where we watch different film franchise every fortnight, which you should know if you're listening to this very self-indulgent and esoteric episode. We thought that because we've got all this pool of knowledge, what better time to manufacture that pool of knowledge into a quiz. And me and Richard were like, well, how much of this information do we remember from over the years of doing franchises? Let's get you guys, the fans, to send us in questions. So we had a bunch of questions sent in by fans. We're not using all of them, right? Because it sounds like
we're so popular. Oh my god!
I have to say, you guys have. The Popture fans are amazing. Like, I did not
all
expect...
5 of them.
when you guys asked me to host this quiz for you, and you were like, oh, we'll get people to send in questions, I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, sure, I can spare 5 minutes of my day.
I was like, no, I was like, I'm going to have to do so much work to make this a decent length quiz. But, like, man, I have to say, shame on me.
Full credit to the boys.
Your fans have just poured in with amazing questions.
Jeremy, in the past 3 or 4 days, we've got 3 new patrons who have joined the Patreon. We've got the best fans in the world. There's not a lot of them. It's a very exclusive club, but they're the best ones there are.
That's real cute.
I don't want any more fans. Frankly, it's too many already.
That's why you said goodbye to the new worst idea fans. Just because, not because it's a bad episode for them, but just you're not welcome.
To be honest, I feel like if people like the sort of flighty approach to film discussion that the worst idea has, I can't imagine this will be any less entertaining than their kinds of discussions.
It's a good crossover.
Yeah,
it is a good crossover.
So please stay if you're a new fan. You'll probably still enjoy it. Maybe you'll get to know a little bit about franchise episodes that you haven't heard. Maybe you'll get to know a little bit more about us.
Maybe this is actually the best. No, you do say, and this is, I'm not going to go into it because this is something that, we talk about later on in the quiz, but you do talk about certain episodes which are better to sort of start in on the podcast. I actually think this might be a good one because you do get this whole overview of both who you guys are.
It's a sample platter.
We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, kia kaha, Jeremy.
Oh, kia kaha, bro.
Kia kaha, Richard.
Oh, kia kaha, Jess.
Kia kaha, wahine.
Oh, kia kaha, AJ.
Kia kaha, listeners as well.
Should we just a little bit more info? Obviously, we're in the middle of a worldwide pandemic, but we're also in the middle of something else. So we probably should get a move on because AJ, Jess, and I are all actually in the middle of a filmmaking competition called the 48-hour film competition, which is an annual thing right in New Zealand, but they're doing a special one just for the lockdown. And it's obviously only 48 hours long. We're devoting probably just over a 48th of our time to this. So we should stop bloody dragging our feet and start ragging our teats.
Wow.
Is that one of the answers to like what is Richard's most famous catchphrase? I'm buzzing in.
Dragging our teats.
All right, so Jeremy, how's the quiz going to work?
All right, well, I'm very excited about this. As the Cult Popture quiz master, I do, of course, have Jess as my trusty scoreboard girl / lady / woman / they.
It's not because she's a lady, though.
No, it's because
I
she's
thought
Jess.
after every round I get to walk around with like the scoreboard and my tits out.
Yeah.
Don't.
Well, you can.
No. She's kidding. She's allowed to make that joke.
It's a
Jess,
trap.
you can do whatever you want to consent to. You're welcome.
Thank you.
AJ's like,
that
oh
is
my
very
god,
empowering.
is it more woke to like correct her or but then I'm controlling her body.
No, gross. Put your tits away. Gross. Anyway,
No
this
tits.
is derailed.
Were you talking to
Anyway,
me?
So
Oh, sorry.
there are 3 parts to this quiz. The first, there are 3 parts to this quiz. One part is the quickfire rounds. Those are interspersed with a round called Who Loves Who the Most, which is basically where I've gotten AJ and Richard to answer questions that are unique to them, and basically I'm going to put the questions to the opposite person, and they have to figure out what would the other person have said as an answer to that question. It's kind of the honeymoon game.
Yeah, the
you
newlywed
might have seen it
game, yeah.
before. Yeah. And then at the end, we've got a game called Sliding Scale, which is going to separate the boys from the boys. Because they're, yeah. All right, let's just crack
'Cause
on
we're
in
children.
the first quickfire round because we have very little time, as I said,
Okay.
and there are so many awesome questions to get through. So I need you guys to choose a buzzer noise that I'm going to hear, and I'm going to judge who's buzzed in first. And also for the quickfire round, to keep it quick, I'm only going to allow for 3 seconds to pass until, if no one buzzes in within 3 seconds, we're going to move on.
Okay. My buzzer
All right.
will be AJ.
And AJ, what's your buzzer going to be?
Okay. Can my buzzer be No, I'm
Yes.
just kidding.
Yep, that's
That'll
perfect.
be fine.
That's perfect. Thank you.
It's
So,
just-
Richard, your
It's
buzzer
just
is...
the noise I make when I'm trying to think.
AJ.
And AJ, your buzzer is...
I
All right. Okay, so
feel like mine's longer.
quickfire round 1 starts now. At what time of day, I will accept the nearest hour, did you start recording the Mummy episode?
AJ.
Okay, Richard?
1 a.m.
Oh, very good. It was actually 12:56 a.m., but the nearest hour is 1 a.m.
In a hilarious case of the exact problem that I predicted would happen, and everyone told me not to worry about it, I didn't hear the first half of your question because of the Google Hangouts link. So, but them's the breaks, I guess. So I
Yeah.
guess it's 1-1 at the moment.
1-1. No,
All right.
it's not 1-1. 1-0.
1-0. I don't know sport. Is there a sports
Okay.
round in this quiz?
Absolutely not. It's Cult Popture. All right.
Sport is
Question
a culture.
2. What is AJ's preferred title for a potential third Shanghai Noon / Shanghai Nights film? Yep, AJ?
Is it Shanghai Gnomes?
Yes. Very good. All right, question
Shall
3.
I explain why it was that? Do
Do we
need
have
to
too much? We don't
provide-
have enough time. Go back and listen to the episode.
No,
All right,
it's
question 3.
just because Shanghai Noon starts with an N, Shanghai Night starts with a K, and so the logical next step would to find a word that starts with a G but still sounds like an N.
AJ, if you are determined to explain how clever you are at the end of every answer that's about you, we're going to be here all night.
So, spoilers for the quiz.
Snap.
There's a lot of AJ cleverness in the answers.
And cuteness.
Oh.
All right. Question 3 of the quickfire. Again, quickfire round, guys. In the Mask episode, which pretentious word did Richard use to describe the first film?
In the Mask episode.
All right. 3 seconds is up. The answer was vaudevillian.
That's not pretentious.
Question 4. Hey, that was a fan submitted question, so they thought you were pretentious.
I like that. That's funny. It was vaudevillian.
It is vaudevillian.
Oh, guys, come on. Question 4. What are people who want to have sex with Shrek called?
AJ.
AJ?
Fuck.
AJ, got it?
It's called brogers.
Yes. All right. Question 5. What is the name of the fat air buddy?
AJ.
I heard AJ first. I said the person AJ.
The answer is Butterball.
Correct. All right. Question 6. What place in the chronological Pixar film order is Monsters University? And 3 seconds is up.
AJ.
It is 14th. All
Yeah.
right. Question 7. What is the full and final answer to the question, should Joe watch Kong Skull Island?
Never listened to the episode.
Yeah, AJ?
I think the answer was no. I think that's what we landed on.
The answer is incorrect. Richard, do you want to have a go at the question? It's not just yes.
Yes, but wait until it's on like Netflix or whatever.
No. The full and final answer to the question, should Joe watch Kong Skull Island, is yes, but mostly because John C. Reilly.
Oh.
Wow, man, we're really digging through the episodes I'd rather people don't go back and listen to. What a smorgasbord this is.
Not only have I not seen
right.
Skull Island, I have also not listened to that podcast.
Okay. Question 8. Which famous screenwriter took no credit for his part in writing the original Beethoven movie?
Oh, shit.
And time's up. It was John Hughes.
Oh, that's right.
Question 9. In 2017's most anticipated episode, what title did Richard suggest for the as yet untitled Danny Boyle movie?
AJ.
What?
Richard.
Get Back.
Yes. Which was hilarious because it was the only title of a Beatles song you could think of that would actually work with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
The film being Yesterday in the end.
That's right. Yeah. Question 10. What was AJ's most disappointing movie of 2015?
AJ?
Yes, AJ?
It's fucking Chappie, man.
It is fucking Chappie. Good work.
Chappie's my most disappointing movie of all time, still.
Well, it's nice to know that there's such longevity to the first episode.
Again, an episode I wish we weren't talking about, but at least I was able to gain a point.
You have the ability to delete whatever you want off the podcast feed.
It's about legacy. It's about having them there, but not expecting people to listen to them.
Yeah, that's right. All right, now we come to round 1 of Who Loves Who the Most? So, the first question is for Richard. Richard, if AJ was going to get a tattoo tomorrow, what would it be of? And where?
Okay. AJ would get it would be a reference, it would be a pop culture thing. And it would be, he would get a matching Dignity tattoo on his arm to match my tattoo.
Incorrect.
from The
AJ, what would you
Simpsons.
get?
This is some off-pod shit, but I'm sure I've said it to Richard in real life. I would get a tattoo of a burnt match on my other leg, because I have a tattoo of a broken pencil on one leg, and I always thought it'd be funny to just tattoo myself full of like items that were useful once but no longer are, but I could just never think of any others beyond a broken pencil and a burnt patch.
It's so bleak.
So
it's so bleak.
there's my story.
All right. AJ, in a similar vein, if Richard was going to get a piercing tomorrow, where would it be?
A piercing.
Yeah.
Like there's some obvious. I feel like the real answer is Richard wouldn't get a piercing.
No, but you had to.
Yeah. If I was going for silly, I'd say he'd get a dick piercing. But if I was going for what would legitimately be the closest thing to him suiting a piercing, I'd say maybe like an eyebrow piercing or an earring.
What's your answer? You can only say one.
I'm gonna go as his fat dick.
Wrong. He said his skinny dick.
Oh!
No. Richard went safe. He played safe and said ear.
Yeah, I was thinking like before, like saying, "Oh, if you had to get a piercing, it's like may as well get my ear." Is not the same difficulty as like out of any possible design in the universe. What would AJ get, and where would he place it on his body?
You look, Richard. You don't get the opportunity to play questionnaire on these questions. They just are what they are.
We also both got the question wrong, Richard. So
Yeah, no, yeah.
all was right with the
I'm glad
universe.
you did, because I would have been fucking. I would have
All right,
taken this up
Richard.
with the quizmaster.
Also,
I did
AJ,
anyway.
how dare you put the idea of an eyebrow piercing into Richard's head?
Yeah, I
If
have
you
been
even
watching
fucking
Tiger
do-
King.
All right, Richard. Next question, and who loves who the most? Who is AJ's favorite actor?
Okay, I was thinking about this question because it's one of those things. AJ and I are both like when it comes to actors and directors and whatnot, we find it hard to pick favorites. But if AJ had to pick a favorite actor,
And he did.
I would guess Adam Driver.
Oh, bang on. So sweet.
Yes,
I'm really glad you prefaced that with how hard it is to pick, Richard, because originally I said 12 actors over.
Yes, you said the name of 12 actors.
Jesus.
And I sent you back a withering Facebook message being like, fucking hell, man, just give me one.
I guess I picked Adam Driver at the moment. I'd say he's my favorite actor.
Yeah, that's what I figured as well.
Because you can't stop going on about him. All right,
yeah.
so AJ, who is Richard's favorite actor?
Ethan Hawke.
Wrong.
It's interesting.
Bah.
Oh, whatever.
Richard, do you want to say who it is?
I put Philip Seymour Hoffman.
I've heard you talk about Ethan Hawke way more than Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Really? I don't think I have.
It's not my quiz. It's not my question. It's not my opinion.
Amazing. Thank you for the disclaimer. All right, Richard, what film franchise Fortnights podcast is AJ most proud of?
I would say because it's interesting because it's like I know there's been recent ones that he's probably really proud of, but then there's ones like Beethoven, which like really seem to put us on the map, so to speak. I'm gonna say Beethoven.
Wrong.
Yeah,
It is
cool.
American Pie.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, American Pie was a good one, but
Yeah.
I think I sent you over a bunch, and Beethoven was one of them.
You
and
said
then you said,
you
just pick one.
And AJ, which film franchise Fortnights is Richard most proud of? And there's a bonus point for you. No, fuck the bonus point. No, which is he most proud of?
I don't know. Richard's a lot more humble than I am, so I don't hear him talk about these
Oh.
things as much.
No one's ever called me humble.
Okay. Can I? I'll say my thinking process.
Yeah.
I know that we both had a lot of fun with the MCU series that we did, and we loved that it was over 12 hours long. So I think that's probably the answer. I'm gonna say MCU Phase 3.
That's fucking so good because Richard literally sent back MCU specifically because it's 12 hours long.
Yeah.
Good on you, man.
Yeah. One of the fans who I'm sure sent in a question did say on our Patreon, I can't remember who it was, so not on our Patreon, on our Discord, sorry, when a new listener showed up and was looking for episodes to listen to, someone described our MCU series as the only Marvel retrospective worth listening to. And I was like, fuck yeah, man, that's so cool. What high praise.
That's why it's my proudest achievement. Not just in the podcast,
Beautiful.
but in life.
All right, Richard. What continue the franchise idea is AJ most proud of coming up with?
There's a few answers, but the one that I think has probably the most backstory to it is his Final Destination continue the franchise.
Unfortunately, that is wrong. AJ, do you want to tell him?
I thought that the anthology sequels to The Mask that you and I kind of workshopped.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that's the idea that out of all the sequels we've come up with, I feel like that's legitimately the one that like you could sell to Hollywood. You know?
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Do we want to say why I guessed Final Destination?
Oh, because I spent like 2 hours writing it, and your only response after I finished reading it was that was dumb.
To be fair, AJ had already hurt my feelings in the podcast, so I was getting him back.
To be fair, he fucking deserved it. All right, AJ, what is Richard's favourite joke that you have ever made on Film Franchise Fortnights?
Okay, it was on the Transformers episode, and there's a point in Transformers 5 where someone says scrotum, making the total amount of times that scrotum has been said across the Transformers series to 3 times, and I belted out, they say scrotum more times in this franchise than there are testicles within a scrotum.
Beautiful. Absolutely bang on. That's so great that you know that.
It's because I tell him all the time.
Oh, so good. All right.
Richard once told me that some of my best work is on that episode.
Oh, it's so beautiful. You guys are so encouraging. Why do I never see that? Anyway,
I agree with you.
Oh my god, it's so funny. I'm so
we are back into. We're about to go back into a quickfire round, but first of all, Jess, score girl Jess, can we get a update on the score?
Yeah, okay.
I'm being demolished.
That was so funny. I'm like crying. Okay, so, well in first place is AJ with 6 points, and then in second is Richard with 3.
Hey, could change at any moment.
All right. Next quickfire round. Question 1. Which film franchise Fortnights was introduced as the fetish cast?
Oh,
is that your answer?
No. Yeah. That was my buzz in.
Yeah, cool.
I think it was The Land Before Time.
Bang on, AJ.
Nice.
Bang on. So good.
Yeah, because we started because sometimes you're thinking about something during the week and you're like, that'll be a funny anecdote to open the show with. And so I opened it talking about fetishes, thinking we would quickly get into what could be seen as potentially a very accessible episode for new listeners, something as crazy as the Land Before Time series. So I started it with that. And then we didn't move on from it for ages. And then Richard explained the MMP process, how we vote for our new Prime Minister in New Zealand. And so I don't think we started talking about Land Before Time in that episode for like 15, 20 minutes. And I remember being like, damn, it's a real good episode, but you really got to slog through a lot to get into it.
My explanation of MMP is good content.
Also, it wasn't just fetishes. It was specifically vor. You went straight into the podcast.
Yeah. That's not the only time we've spoken about
vor
vor on the podcast.
All right. Jess, hang on a sec. Do not ruin the next question. Number 2. Name 2 of the 3 fetishes mentioned in the fetish cast.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep, AJ?
That was me buzzing in. It was vor and feet.
Ooh, almost.
AJ.
No!
Richard, you get a chance now?
I'm going to guess vor and BDSM.
Oh, both wrong. Come on, guys. The 3 fetishes mentioned were vor, nugget porn, and shoes.
Oh, yeah.
I also just want to make an addendum to this question. I'm a little bit worried because 4 separate people submitted questions about the fetish cast / when you mentioned Vor.
Oh my god, that is
So
insane.
you
I need to go back and
obviously
listen to that episode.
You obviously made a really lasting impression, and no, there were no questions about MMP.
I think it's because the reason I brought up Vor on the podcast was because I was talking to Richard how, like, I get it. I'm not into it, but I could totally understand.
Yes,
how
I went
that could
back
be
and
someone's
listened to it,
fetish.
and I did hear that, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe people
Question-
it resonated with people.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe
Question
a lot
3.
of people, a lot of Vor fans on our.
Question
Film
3.
franchise Fortnights.
Oh my gosh, guys.
Quick fire my ass.
All right. On the Big Fat Liar episode, what did Richard find incredulous about Barry Bostwick?
Did I use the word incredulous?
I don't know. I didn't come up with this question, but the time has gone by. Apparently, it was his enormous head.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that he had an enormous head, but I didn't know what incredulous meant.
So good. All right. Question 4. What did Shia LaBeouf send to Lars von Trier in order to secure his role in Nymphomaniac?
AJ.
Richard?
Was it like a tape of him having sex?
Yes, it was. He sent him a
that's
sex tape
right.
with him and his girlfriend. Okay. Question 5. The name Gojira was created by mashing up the Japanese
AJ.
names of which two... Oh.
A gorilla and a
Richard.
whale.
Oh, beautiful. And do you know what the Japanese words are?
It's like Gogira, Gorira and Kujira or something like that.
Oh my gosh. I want to give you a bonus point. That's amazing. Good work.
I'll take the bonus
Are we
point.
going in for that bonus point?
Actually, can I give you 3 bonus points?
Give him 10.
All right.
I can beat him still.
Oh! All right, fucking hell.
You
give
don't
him 10
understand how
bonus
much
points.
I love Richard. I'll get all the who loves who the most.
All right. Question 6. What is the first film franchise Fortnights episode that clocked in over an hour?
AJ.
Richard?
Is it Freddy vs. Jason?
No.
I'm pretty sure it's
AJ?
like 59 minutes.
Is this a trick question?
Oh, shit. Sorry. Freddy vs. Jason that's Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, eh? Yeah, sorry. Richard is correct. Yes.
Okay. Technically, you could argue it's Back to the Future, but we split it into 3 half-an-hour chunks.
Yes. No. Just single episode.
That's a good point.
All right.
I'll allow it.
Question, thank you, because you don't have a choice. All right, question 7. How many Land Before Time movies are there?
AJ.
Richard.
14.
Very good. Question 8. Which event caused you to invent the segment, Brent, are you okay?
I don't remember this at all. Oh,
AJ?
the Houston floods, was it?
No. Well, no.
Is
You
it
know what
some-
I'm talking about, though.
This
If
event-
I've
this-
got the title wrong, that
what
sucks.
caused the floods, AJ? What caused the floods?
A hurricane.
Yes, very good. I'll give you that.
Okay.
All right, question 9. Which politician shouted out, Cult Popture?
AJ.
Oh, fuck.
Richard.
David Seymour.
Very good. All right. Where was that?
And for those who don't live in New Zealand, one of the worst politicians we have. we gotta
He's
just say
essentially
our name.
he's essentially Rand Paul. He's a libertarian politician.
Oh, so funny. We nearly got him on the podcast. Do you remember
He
that?
agreed to come on, but then his press secretary never replied to me.
When how did this happen? I need to know.
So I added David Seymour on Snapchat, and he just kept, and he would like reply to my snaps. This was back when Snapchat was a thing, and I would like just send Snapchats being like about just everyday shit, and he would reply with like selfies, being like, "Haha, good one."
Oh my gosh.
And then I was like, "Do you want to come on my podcast?" and then he messaged me and was like, "Do you want to help with the campaign?"
Oh my word.
That's not worth it. That's not a fair trade.
And then this was right around the time of Kill Bill, when we did the Kill Bill movies for Film Franchise Fortnights, and we reached out to a then not Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern to come on a podcast where she talked about Kill Bill as she went up against Bill English in the coming election. And I wish we had scored that, and just how funny that would have been to have Jacinda. That would have been a scandal.
But before she was even leader of the Labour Party, she was like, "Hey, I'm at the end of your street. Come and meet me." Not just to us, but she like sent out these flyers that was like, "I'm doing a meet and greet at the ends of these streets at this time," and we were like, "Fuck, we may as well go," and we just didn't for some reason, even though we had that flyer like stuck up on our wall next to our Speed 2 poster.
These are good times, man. I'm starting to feel real nostalgic for the early days of the podcast.
All right, well, hopefully this will keep it going. Question 10. On the Lilo and Stitch episode, one of you compared Lilo and Stitch Has a Glitch to which other movie and what other film franchise?
Jeepers.
Oh, that's a deep
not
cut.
your buzzer.
Can I change my buzzer to I don't know?
No. All right. The answer was you said that Stitch Has a Glitch is the prisoner of Azkaban of the Lilo and Stitch series because the main villain isn't present in the film.
That's very good.
You have some dedicated fans, man. Honestly, it's so good.
Do we, or did they just go back to the first 1 and 2 seasons? Because we have had no questions from like the past 3 years that have popped up so far.
I can tell you what, they really loved those early seasons. Or you may not, but they did.
I like that. We have like purist fans.
And they're like bagging on you for not liking those seasons.
Yeah.
We jumped the shark when we jumped the shark when we got better microphones.
Yeah.
All right. That brings us to round 2 of Who Loves Who the Most. I'm just leaving a gap so, AJ, you can put in the Who Loves Who the Most.
Yeah, I was like,
it's already happened.
I could tell you're waiting for it. To avoid copyright infringement, just let everyone sing it in their head. And if you're not from New Zealand, look up Who Loves Who the Most by the Exponents.
Yeah.
I might change it after the first one to just be some other silly song. That'd be a pretty good joke.
Would it not be copyright if we sang it?
Yeah.
Counts as a cover, right?
Just get AJ to sing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go, AJ.
My little pony, my little pony, you'll always be in my heart.
All right. Okay. Here we go.
Okay,
Richard. Here we go.
Who is AJ's favourite director?
I know that Once Upon a Time.
What did I even put? I don't even remember what I put.
I know that AJ will tell you that Once Upon a Time he would have put Danny Boyle. But I also know that he loves putting Patty Jenkins. So this is a tricky one. I'm going to say Danny Boyle, even though I know it's not at all true. Is it Patty Jenkins?
You had it. You had it. So he gave me the names of 12 male directors with no female directors at all. And then I sent him, hey, you've got to give me just one. It's unfair. So he sent back, okay, just put Patty Jenkins.
That's so funny. Because it's I knew he would as well, but okay, yeah.
I like Patty Jenkins. She's a good director.
Yes, you like her so much that when I asked you this question, you couldn't even think to put her in your list of 12 male directors.
Look,
do you remember who was on his list?
Denis Villeneuve, John Carney, Danny Boyle, the Coen brothers, Paul Thomas Anderson, Christopher Nolan, Taika Waititi, Robert Zemeckis, David Fincher, Edgar Wright.
That's a good memory.
I don't have a favorite director. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
like, if you ask me, if you're hoping for an exciting answer, it's like, it's probably Paul Thomas Anderson. You know what I mean? Like, it's like who's the best director? It's one of those people.
Yeah, very good. Well, AJ, you've now got a chance because Richard did give me one name. And who is Richard's favourite director?
David Fincher.
There you go.
Fuck.
Bang. All right, Richard, you have a chance to get it back. Which franchise did AJ hate watching the most?
Fuck. I know he's said it to me, like,
I just couldn't be bothered remembering.
I remember him saying like this was the worst one to watch. Oh, Medea.
Bang on.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Of course it's Medea. It's inarguably Medea.
All right, and AJ, which franchise surprised Richard the most in terms of how much he enjoyed covering it?
Scream.
Bang. Bang on. All right, and Richard, what is AJ's favorite thing about your body?
My fat dick.
Is that your final answer?
No. I'm gonna say my beard.
Cute. That is correct.
Yes.
And AJ, what is Richard's favorite thing about your body?
One time, when we first started flatting together in like 2016, I was standing
what is the story
shirtless.
going to be?
I was standing shirtless in the doorway, and Richard was also shirtless in the lounge. And to pass through the doorway into his bedroom down the hallway, he intentionally pushed past me so that we rubbed bellies, which I remember thinking at the time, like, we were both, and I hate to bring this up, Richard, but we were both kind of like recently fat, like we were both recently overweight, and I remember thinking it incredible that like two people who were so vocal about how insecure they felt about their weight, that you would do something that would draw attention directly to it. So based on that experience, I'll say my little tummy is his favorite.
That's such a good answer. Such a good answer. Oh my gosh. No, it's not.
No.
It's your beard.
Do you know, I actually almost put
Never mind.
I almost put like your little tummy or like your round little belly or something like that, and I was gonna write it like that.
Oh my god. But you didn't. You said beard,
No, I
so
said
no
beard.
points. All right. Richard, what does AJ think your dumbest opinion is?
Okay, AJ thinks my dumbest opinion is that Yu-Gi-Oh is good.
Oh, that's a good
No.
answer. That's better than what I put.
No, I quite like your one because it's real petty. AJ wrote, "Making fun of me is cool."
Oh my god.
It's a dumb opinion.
It's so
I don't
good.
think it's cool. I think it makes me cool.
I used to be a bully in high school. I'm not anymore. And Richard.
Whoa, okay.
Oh, sorry.
Jesus.
And AJ. AJ, what does... No, sorry, fuck. Which one of you? Yes, AJ.
Yeah, but it'll
What
be
is
to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a really difficult question to formulate. AJ, what does Richard think your dumbest opinion is?
Is it that if Deadpool is introduced into the MCU, that'll make all the X-Men movies canon in the MCU?
No, it's even worse than that. It's that Aioli needs to be left in the 2010s.
We need to leave Aioli behind in the 2010s. Was this said on the podcast? This
I
is
can't
this is
remember.
a Facebook. This is a Facebook status I made end of last year, and my God, I've never had such a response to something. And I was like in tears laughing at the uproar it caused. I had people who I haven't talked to in years. I have people who I only know on like a professional capacity commenting hate speech on the status that I posted. It was so funny. But you know what? I stand by it. Let's
Yeah, good
move
on.
on.
You, mate. Good on you. Good
Let's
on you.
move on from
All right.
Aioli.
Score girl Jess, we're now up to the next round, so it's time to get a check-in on the scores.
Well, Jeremy, let me tell you, the scores are very interesting. So, taking first place at 11 points is Richard.
Oh,
Whoa!
Following closely behind at 10 is AJ.
oh, fuck.
Oh,
Just like in real life.
Yeah, AJ, you can't hassle yourself if you think that anyway.
You're the one that gave him the bonus point.
I earned that bonus point.
And I just never get an opportunity for a bonus point in this whole game.
Yeah, well, you are the bonus point, AJ. All right. Next quickfire round. Question 1. On the Jungle Book podcast, which actor did one of you suggest be cast as Zazu in the upcoming live-action Lion King adaptation? Time's up. It was Michael B. Jordan. Which I'm like, what the hell?
I think at this point, I think at this point we knew all of the actors were African American, and so we were trying to think along that line.
But like, not Chris Rock or someone who's actually a comedian.
Listen, what's great about that is I hate that episode. I've never re-listened to that episode. And now I find out there's this gold in that episode.
Yeah, you just need your fans to mine that gold for you. It's good. All right, okay. Question 2. According to AJ, what is the basic white girl version of American Pie? AJ?
Is it Legally Blonde?
It is. That's correct.
Oh.
All right, question 3. In the Continue the Franchise segment, what was the suggested name of a follow-up film where Jackie Chan just mopes around being
AJ.
depressed all the time? Hey, Richard?
Shanghai Morning.
Oh, yeah.
I thought we were just moving through the episodes and now we've just got back to Shanghai Noon again.
No. This has zero direction to it. This is all over the place. All right, question 4. What was the first movie you covered that didn't have a Rotten Tomatoes page?
AJ.
Richard?
Ace Ventura Jr.?
No.
Oh, no, didn't have a page, so fuck.
AJ?
Was it Beethoven's Fifth?
No, it was Air Bud World Pup.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, question 5. How do Patrick and SpongeBob get their superpowers and sponge out of water? Time's up.
Fuck.
Wow.
Fake fan.
Really?
Fake fans,
Yeah.
yeah.
They just have to write in this magic book that makes things come true. Bonus point for acknowledging that pencils seem to have great power in the SpongeBob world. That was actually a question from your excellent girlfriend Jess.
Wow.
Apparently-
AJ, say thank you to her for me when you see her.
Who's on the show?
Yay, there she is.
Okay, question 6. On the Scary Movie podcast, which of your films had your guest not watched?
AJ.
Richard.
Dave didn't watch Scary Movie 3.
Yeah, very good.
Because that was the only one we watched without him.
Yeah.
Remember when you used to have Dave on the podcast?
Yeah.
Let's get Dave back.
Episode. Question 7. Which 2 languages were apparently the basis for the language spoken by the critters in Critters?
AJ? No,
AJ?
I want to say French and Chinese.
Oh, racism. You got French right, but it was Japanese. No half points. All right, question 8.
Weirdly harsh on me while you're just throwing out bonus points. For
Well, because mine that's what you get for being culturally sensitive and remembering Japanese words.
That's right. Question 8. According to AJ, what is the quintessential franchise that represents cult popture? AJ?
I think they're talking about the Fast and the Furious franchise.
No. They're not. Richard,
damn.
do you want to give a go?
Can I go again if
AJ.
Richard doesn't know it?
Yes, you can.
Earbud.
No. AJ, go again.
Is it American Pie?
No. Richard, do you want to have another go?
Beethoven.
No. Okay, I'm going to cut it there.
Yeah.
It was the Scream franchise.
Oh, of course it's the Scream franchise because it's like they're like they analyze pop culture in those movies in a very fun way.
That's right.
And
yeah,
when
yeah.
we first saw them, the reason you were surprised you enjoyed it so much, Richard, was because inexplicably no one had told us our entire lives that we would have loved the Scream movies.
Yeah.
which I want to say sorry for, really. All right. Question 9.
You're not
the
forgiven.
Actress who... The actress who played the older sister Rice in Beethoven also played the older sister on what family 90s sitcom? AJ?
That's how she became the nanny.
Who would have guessed that the girl we described? Yes, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Question 10. In which franchise does the main character have a son named AJ?
AJ.
Richard.
Ace Ventura.
Very good.
Actually, there is another answer to this.
Really?
Ooh.
In the most recent Medea episode, there is a son character named AJ.
That's
well,
This is from Medea's family funeral, which was a Patreon exclusive episode. I think it should count. I think
I think
should get
that's
a point.
technically non-canon.
unfortunately, you don't get a point because you weren't the first person to buzz in. Not because you were wrong, but because we only get one answer for the quickfire round. Sorry. All right. So that's the end of the
And you know what,
next-
Richard, you can have a bonus point too.
No, you get 1 point taken off for suggesting that, though. Jess, can you take a point off for Richard,
No,
please?
just
Thank
don't.
you. Yeah, do.
Jess,
All right.
give Richard 15 points, please.
Wait, I'm confused. Does AJ get a
Leave
point?
my friend alone, Jeremy.
Jess, you do what you want to do because, you know, I value your consent and your ability to just control what you want to control around you.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I'm the one that wrote
We're
that
now up
question,
to
and I feel
round
bad because I
3
didn't listen to
of
the Medea
Who Loves Who
podcast.
the Most?
Talks over Jess after trying to be the...
To be fair, I did not hear that she was talking because she's very
Oh
quiet.
yeah,
sorry.
woman. Yeah, you don't hear what a lot of things she says, do you, Jeremy?
I feel like Jasmine from the new
Take a
Aladdin
point
movie.
off Jeremy. All right.
Jeremy minus 1 point.
All right. So, Richard, your first question on Who Loves Who the Most?
She was working in a bridal shop in Flushing, Queens, till her boyfriend kicked her out in one of those crushing scenes. What was she to do? Where was she to go? She was out on her fanny. So over the bridge from Flushing to the Sheffield's door, she was there to sell makeup, but the father saw more. She had style, she had flair, she was there. That's how she became the nanny. Who would have guessed that the girl we described was just exactly what the doctor prescribed? Now the father finds her beguiling. Watch out, CC. And the kids are actually smiling. Joie de vie. She's the lady in red when everybody else is wearing tan. The flashy girl from Flushing. The nanny named Fran.
Who is AJ's favourite actress?
Ooh.
I love all women. I don't have an answer.
Yeah. I don't know, has Patty Jenkins ever acted in anything? Favorite actress. I actually have no idea. AJ doesn't really talk about women. I don't know. I'm struggling to think if it's going to be a comedic actress or not. Is my main thing. I'm just going to say Charlize Theron.
Meryl Streep.
Oh yeah, the fucking laziest
The vanilla
answer.
white bread.
She's so fun to watch.
She is great.
It's true. All right, and AJ, who is Richard's favourite actress?
Amy Adams.
Olivia Colman.
Yeah.
All right,
She's fun to watch.
Agreed.
Richard, who does AJ think are the best and worst characters in the Avengers series?
So two answers. The best answer and then the worst.
Yes, correct.
Now when we're saying in the Avengers series, like
So-
appear in most of the not like someone who pops up once.
Appear within the Avengers saga.
The MCU.
So they don't necessarily, they have to be in an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
They don't have to be so they
They don't have to be
some
one of
random
the
person
Avengers kind of thing.
in like Thor: The Dark World or something.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, I know the best character is Iron Man.
Yep. Well, he said Tony Stark, but yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
sure.
Yep, same thing.
And worst. Well, I know I wouldn't say Black Widow.
I love women too much.
Because he totally forgot about her.
Yeah. Worst character. I would guess he would say. Fuck, this is really hard.
It's real random. I'll just give you a clue. It's super random, man.
Nah, dude. No, it's actually Jeremy. Do not give him a clue. But I
Okay.
will agree, Richard, it is a hard question to answer because it's a hard question for me to answer as well.
I'm going to go with my least favorite character in the Avengers series, who I know, I think we've talked about being worse, but Maria Hill.
No.
Fuck.
AJ, do you want to tell him?
Sorry, man. I really hung you out to dry. I just wrote Malekith. Like, just the go-to answer for worst.
Wait, so
like
Jeremy
that's
said
such a-
it's not a character who appears in Thor: The Dark World, and it was Malekith.
I didn't hear him say that.
No, I just said I asked AJ the question, who is the best and worst characters in the Avengers? And I expected it to be a character who appears in an Avengers movie.
Right, so when I asked for clarification and said, like, oh, so are we talking, like, anyone in the MCU or in, like... And you were like, oh, it's not... They have to be in an Avengers movie. It's not someone who just appears in Thor: The Dark World. And it is one of the only characters who just appears in Thor: The Dark World.
Does it?
Yeah.
I have no idea who this character was. So I was just
Christopher
like,
Christopher Eccleston.
Christopher
in Thor: The
Eccleston's
Dark
character,
World.
Thor: The Dark World.
all right, we've got Tony Stark right. I'm going to give you a point.
Because you...
Give him 2 points.
I'm doing it.
All right, AJ, what does Richard think is the stupidest franchise you've covered?
The stupidest.
Yeah.
I would say, I feel like I would say it's The Land Before Time, but I don't know if stupidest is the correct title that he would give that one.
Okay, Richard, do you want to give your answer and your reason?
I'm going to have to remember what I said.
No, you said Critters.
Oh, Critters. Did I give a reason?
No, you didn't.
Oh yeah, stupidest franchise. Just AJ, AJ and I just Critters is like such a weird episode for us because it's like it's just such a stupid franchise.
It's such a nothing franchise. And
Yeah.
when, like, I like to think that we're quite good at what we do here. You know, I like to think that we put out good content. And when I've listened back to the Critters episode, it just sounds like a random episode of a podcast that I'd listen to that episode and never listen to another episode again.
It's one for the
right.
true fans.
Very good. All right, cool. Well, we're about to get on to the next quickfire round. So, Jess, do you want to give us an update?
Oh, okay. Give me a second. Talk between yourselves.
Talk.
Yeah, AJ,
Talk.
I almost put Land Before Time, but again, I wasn't sure that stupidest was the right word. There was actually because Jeremy sent us these late at night, and I did them, and then I was like, I'll come back to them tomorrow morning, and that was like the only one I changed the next morning from Land Before Time.
All right. So, Jess, before we start the next round, do you want to give us an update on the scores?
Sure can. All right. So, holding first place is Richard at 16 points. Following not so far behind, AJ at 13. And then very much in last place is Jeremy with -1 points.
Fuck yeah.
As it should be, really.
And
yeah.
Jess, you're currently at 0. You haven't
Oh,
been
that
given
is
or
true.
taken away
That
any
is
points.
true.
So you're beating Jeremy.
I reckon give her a point for counting up the scores.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Correctly on the
I reckon
first
give
go.
her 17
Yep,
points.
cool.
Question 1 of this quickfire round. On the Lilo and Stitch podcast, one of you compared Myrtle's character in Lilo and Stitch to which character from another franchise you've covered?
AJ.
AJ?
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, AJ?
Yeah, she is Sarah from The Land Before Time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good.
And it would have been me that made the comparison.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. You guys are super cute. All right. Question 2. Which episode did you record outside with fireworks
AJ.
going off all around you? Oh, Richard. Richard got that straight away.
That was 101 Dalmatians.
Very good. All right. 33. Question 3. What is the name of the giant shrimp that fights Godzilla in Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster?
AJ?
Richard?
Mega Gagaris?
No. No, the name is Ibira.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, ebi is the Japanese word for prawn.
So good.
That's the next
All right.
question.
Question 4. All right, this is an involved question, and it's probably not going to be the amount of effort involved in answering it isn't going to be worth the point that you get. But let's just go for it. Name the 7 franchises of 3 or more films that you have covered that have had the same director for the whole franchise.
AJ.
Richard.
So Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, do they count as 2?
The fact you don't have an answer to that means that you won't have an answer for any other time something like this has happened.
I will look. This is not my question, Brianna. You did not include Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit.
Oh my god. Okay, so I just have to name 7 of them, I guess.
Yes. I'll allow that.
Okay. So Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit. Transformers.
Yeah.
Because we did it before Bumblebee. Then Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
Nymphomaniac. And Kill Bill.
I thought it was 3 or more.
3 or more films. 3 or more.
Oh, sorry. Okay. The Hangover.
Yes.
So that's 6, right? And Scream.
Correct.
There's also Austin
Yep.
Powers, all directed by Jay Roach. That was one I was thinking of. All of the Air Buddies.
Raimi
and Evil Dead.
Raimi Spider-Man.
Yeah, and Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although no, Evil Dead was Fede Alvarez did the
That's- yeah,
fourth
very-
one.
very
I thought of
true.
that, and then also we didn't split it by Raimi
Oh, man.
at the time on the episode as well. So I was going to do the 2 Raimi franchises, but the way we covered them
That's true.
didn't cover
Well, I have to say, I was very let down by how this question was given the answers. But good for you, Richard. You got there.
Remember when we used to do statistics about on up top useless statistics on episodes, and we'd be like,
man.
"This is our 4th franchise containing 2 or more films that has da da da," and we loved that segment. And then Jeremy, a note from you, one of our producers, was got to fast forward through up top useless statistics, and so briefly we tried doing poorly placed useless statistics and randomly placed useless statistics across the whole episode.
Yeah. Oh, we loved that segment.
Randomly placed was my personal favorite.
Yeah.
And look, and now we're doing a quiz which is far more about us than the franchises we've talked about. So who's
Yeah.
really the self-indulgent one?
But aren't we all having fun?
That's the
I'm
main
having the
thing.
time
Alright.
of my life.
Question 5. What made-up emotion did AJ feel going into the Friday the 13th Nightmare on Elm Street episode?
A
I
made-up emotion.
resent the idea of having a made-up emotion. I think all my emotions are valid.
Well, the time is up, and this is absolutely a made-up emotion called apprehensious. I'm feeling very apprehensious.
Was that not on a was that not on the most anticipated of 2017?
All right, look, the question I was given said that it was at the beginning.
I feel
have
like
done no
you
quality
were
control.
on the episode when I said that, Jeremy, and I think it might have been
Actually, do you
that
know
episode.
what? Do you know when I think apprehensious was? It might not be apprehensious, but you used a made-up word on the Evil Dead podcast, and you said you were feeling a certain way, and I immediately said that's not a word because beforehand you had asked me, hey, I'm going to say this, but I'm not sure if it's a real word, and I said, oh, no, it is, and then immediately when you used it, I said, AJ, that's not a word.
Wow, what was the word?
I thought that was apprehensious.
No, it was.
Anyway.
It actually was a word. I told you I didn't know if it was a real word, and we looked it up, and it was. And then you still said that. I'm trying to remember what the word was.
Okay. All right, question 6. Which 2 animated franchise that you have covered added Antonio Banderas in the second installment of the franchise? No one?
Well, I know one of them.
Well, I
but
mean,
don't
we
know
know
the
one
other.
of them, obviously.
All right, Shrek and SpongeBob.
Imagine if
Oh,
you,
yeah.
you knew SpongeBob and I knew Shrek, Richard, and we're both like, well, we obviously know one of them.
All right, question 7. What did AJ say is the most enduring line of the Santa Claus franchise?
Yeah,
Yeah, AJ?
Here's to Santa.
What?
Is that not
No.
Oh, is it
No. Richard gets a chance.
Pass.
Okay, AJ?
Is it I invented chill?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh my
But you
god!
got
Oh
it.
fuck! I was gonna
Wow.
say I gotta get married.
Or you killed him.
I'm not going to give you the point though.
What
Um,
kind of
Oh no, he got it right.
Okay, fine. I'll give you the point. Whatever.
You're
Okay.
being so mean to AJ. We established that this does not make you cool.
Okay, take a point off me and give it to AJ.
Okay.
Wait, no,
you're
he has
just
negative
putting
points.
AJ further in debt.
Yeah, you're giving me negative points then.
I don't know. I didn't do enough math to know if you can. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Question 8. Why do the first 5 Land Before Time movies have a place in the Cult Popture Hall of Fame?
I'm guessing, like we say on the episode, that it has a place.
Yes.
The first 5 only?
Yeah, time's up. Yeah, apparently the first 5 Land Before Time movies have the worst continuity of all time.
Yeah.
They learn about migration 4 times.
Yeah, that's right. They migrate from the Great Valley at the end of each movie, and then by the next movie, they're just there
Yeah.
again.
And they just learn what migration is for the first time.
Yeah.
Okay, question 9. What was the only piece of dumb IMDb trivia that could be found for the Final Destination episode?
Fuck, that's a 12-page script that I wrote for that episode. I don't remember.
Okay, well, time's up. An old man tells an Asian person that he killed lots of your kind in Korea, to which the man responds, I'm Chinese, but the Chinese did fight in the Korean War.
What a dumb piece of IMDb trivia. That's so good.
Very aptly named segment then.
Yes, indeed. All right, question 10. What is the first Continue the franchise that was just a book?
Wait, did you say just the book or just a book?
No, just a book. A book was suggested for the first time as a Continue the franchise.
It'd be so cool if one
Time's
of us
up.
knew this.
Yeah.
Time's up. It was Lilo and Stitch, an encyclopedia of just what all the other 625 experiments
nice.
were.
Nice.
All right, now we're ready to go into round 4 of Who Loves Who the Most.
The Fitness Gram Pacer test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test that progressively gets more difficult as it continues.
Richard, which movie makes AJ laugh every time he watches it?
This has been. I'm hoping that this is the answer because he won't shut up about it in the last couple of months. But Big Trouble.
Yes.
It's so good. Everybody should watch Big Trouble. It stars Tim Allen. Don't let that put you off.
It's like a movie version of Arrested Development.
It's like a movie version of Arrested Development. It's got an all-star cast led by Tim Allen. There's a real funny bit in it where Patrick Warburton's in it.
Can't say all stars when it includes Tim Allen.
Tom Allen.
Tom Allen. They got his brother.
There's a great bit where a bunch of goats escape from a truck during a car chase, and they drive into one, and it flips over the windscreen, and then Patrick Warburton, who's in the car, goes, "Was that a goat?" It's very funny.
Oh my God.
And it makes you laugh
Okay.
every time.
It's such a funny movie.
All right, AJ. What is the movie, AJ, that has properly scared Richard the most?
Properly scared him the most. Is this on the podcast?
Yes.
It wasn't just for the podcast, but the answer happens to be within the podcast.
Yeah, it is a film that you've watched as part of the podcast.
It's part of a film franchise, Fortnights.
Yes.
Oh, man. I want to say Evil Dead, the Fede Alvarez one.
What's the name of that one?
It's called Evil Dead.
He's right. I wrote Evil Dead
Oh.
2K13,
Right.
Amazing. That's
which is just
beautiful.
what we called it on the episode. Yeah, this was a really hard one for me to answer because I'm scared of being scared, like more than I like actually get scared watching movies. I am terrified leading up to it, and this was one of the movies I've been most scared to watch ever, and AJ knew that at the time. I remember talking to him about it.
It's super cute. All right. And Richard, what franchise does AJ most dread having to cover?
I'm guessing.
Oh shit.
Well, AJ wrote, "We don't want to say this on the podcast because the patrons will make us vote for it. That is what he will say."
Oh, okay. I didn't realize we were allowed to cheat.
I thought that's
Just-
what you
or
were
just
going to
bleep
say.
Yeah, well, I would have, but can you bleep out my answer?
I will, but I also, after I wrote that, I also was about to write in parentheses, but it's but I didn't want to give Jeremy that information because Jeremy actually is a patron, which is a weird part of being part of the Cult Popture extended family, as we do expect you to buy your way in.
Yeah, that's right. So good. All right. Well, AJ, you've got a more positive version of this question. Which franchise that you haven't covered yet is Richard most looking forward to covering?
Rocky.
Yeah, very good.
My one's easy because I talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
It's my big trouble.
Okay, Richard, what is the
Do we want to give Richard a point for his answer?
No,
What's that?
No,
Do we want to give Richard a point?
He didn't say what I said he was going to say, so therefore he doesn't.
Yeah, yep, no fear.
Yeah. All right. Richard, what is the single best film that AJ has watched for Film Franchise Fortnights?
Nymphomaniac Part 1.
Yeah, that horny bugger. All right.
Have you
No,
seen
it
it?
actually
It's so good.
I have seen it. Yeah. It was bizarre. Anyway, AJ's like, right, off the podcast. Get off. All right. And AJ, what is the single worst film that Richard has watched for Film Franchise Fortnights?
Oh god, there've been a lot of them, bro. Oh, this is a much harder question than what Richard was asked. Oh, okay, so usually my go-to example for this would be Legally Blondes. So that's the only one that's coming to mind. Is it Legally Blondes?
Bang on. Correct.
Yeah, man.
Okay. How
What a
bad was that
bad
movie?
movie.
So bad, my god.
All right. And Richard, where would AJ recommend that new listeners should start listening from?
I know, like, it becomes, like, closer and closer to now every time we talk about this. Because originally it was like, oh, start at Ghostbusters. But now I don't think I'd recommend that. It has to be after we got good microphones. I would say that starting at the Earbud no, actually, sorry, American Pie.
Ooh, no. Beethoven. AJ has a higher...
I think
Yeah.
Beethoven.
I was trying to go yeah.
it's
I still
the-
think it's a quintessential episode.
Yeah. You had good logic with your thinking that realistically, if probably someone was going to ask me, I'd say a more recent episode. But Beethoven feels like the classic answer, and it's also the answer a lot of people in like our Discord and stuff recommend.
Yeah.
But I actually wouldn't say American Pie because American Pie is the second part of our trilogy of dated comedies.
Yeah.
So,
But then I
don't think that is
didn't
relevant.
think Hangover would be a good episode to start with.
No, yeah, you're right.
But anyway.
No, definitely. Hangover
All
would
right.
be a terrible episode to start with. We're drunk and I talk about how big my dick is in it. And I talk about how not big it is, not how like
Do you have a time?
huge it
Do you have a time code for that?
is. It's towards the end. I play a game with Richard called "Is Your Dick Bigger Than Chow's?" And Richard refuses to answer, and he says, "Is your dick bigger than Chow's?" And I say, "It's bigger than Chow's, but it's not that big."
All right. So, AJ, for the last question of this round of Who Loves Who the Most, what would Richard rate the Star Wars franchise as a whole out of 10?
Fuck, like it's 0 at this point. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Oh, maybe like a 2.
Oof, 4.
Right.
Yeah. It's more bad than good.
Well,
But still has some really great stuff in there.
two is still more bad than good. But okay.
Yeah, it probably is a 2.
I actually was serious with 0, but then you just laughed at my answer, and I was like, well, I guess it's not 0. And I guess
Oh well,
enough
sorry.
of it.
I need to be more careful as a quizmaster.
Pretty sloppy work,
All
to
right,
be
so
honest,
Jess,
Jeremy.
absolutely. I mean, I am drunk.
Are you? Is your dick bigger than Chow's?
Jess, rescue us from this moment. Give us the scores.
All right, so Richard, 20. AJ's at 18, catching up. I'm sitting on 1, a proud 1 point, and Jeremy, you're now at -2.
Awesome. That's exactly how things should be. All right. Okay, this is our last quickfire round. So here we go. 10 quickfire questions. Question 1. What are the full names of the original 5 Air Bud movies?
AJ.
Richard.
Can we just acknowledge that the last 3 words that were said were AJ, Richard, and is my buzzer, but Richard said it.
So, you've got Airbud.
Yeah.
Airbud World Pup.
No. Well, okay. Yeah. You don't have to give them in order.
Oh, yeah, these aren't necessarily in order.
No.
Airbud 7th Inning Fetch.
Correct.
Airbud Spikes Back.
Yeah.
And...
If he doesn't know it, I know it.
Yeah. And you can get the whole point as well if you know it.
Wait. Oh my god. How do I... Oh,
All right,
Airbud Golden Receiver.
Yeah. Good man. Good man. Good man.
Directed by Richard Martin.
Richard Martin. Yeah, I know. And Airbud, like a dog with a pwn, which was a second place for best joke AJ's made on the podcast.
All right. Question 2. Which episode was recorded while you were at a barbecue?
AJ,
Richard.
scary movie.
Yep. Very good.
Man, I gotta tell you,
and-
this lag between you and me, Jeremy, is killing me in the points.
Oh, do you reckon we're still lagging?
I said about 3 seconds before Richard on my end, but all right.
All right.
You're
Sorry
gonna
about
have to like edit this and post so that it sounds
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to start preemptively saying as well.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the first fun fact you mention in the very first film franchise, Fortnights?
I don't know.
I heard you. I heard you first, AJ.
Yeah.
So defeated.
All right. It's that Lethal Weapon is the very first film to feature the use of a cell phone.
That's right.
And Chris Rock does a little tangent about it.
This is a fun
All
fact.
right.
Opening our episode of film franchise Fortnights.
All right. AJ, are you ready to
Yeah.
You're going to need to be super quick on this one. According to Richard, who is the best film character of all time?
AJ.
Richard.
Charlie Swan. From the
Absolutely.
Twilight franchise.
For the record,
Absolutely.
I agree. So it's not just Richard who says that.
Yeah, I mean, he said it first, though.
Well, that's also up for debate.
All right, question 5. During which episode did Dave dump a pizza
AJ.
on the couch? Richard.
So still have the Trevor pants.
Yeah,
That is
correct.
a confusing question because I was like paying slightly less attention because I was playing with a piece of licorice. And when you said in which episode, what does Dave spill pizza on the couch, just the wording and the terminology used made me like cycle through like sitcoms in my head, like with characters named Dave. I was like, which episode of like, Home Improvement does Dave spill a pizza on the couch? Because that'd be such a sitcom thing.
Which episode of your life, AJ? Which episode of your life?
Yeah.
Question 6. In the Medea series, what is Medea's real full name? AJ?
Shit.
No, that's not the answer.
It's Mabel.
Yeah.
Her first name is Mabel. I don't
Yeah.
know the rest of her name.
All right, it's Medea Simmons. Question number 7. Which actor was originally cast in James Woods' role as an exorcist in Scary
AJ.
Movie? Yes, Richard.
Marlon Brando.
Yes, correct.
And he still
God.
got paid $1 million for it.
Wow. He still got paid $1 million for it.
Did they spend $1 million on Scary Movie 2?
Yeah. So Marlon Brando signed on with like an upfront fee, and it was $1 million, and he was going to get more after doing the role. And then contract disputes or whatever, he had to leave the role, but he still got the fucking $1 million.
The only franchise that we've talked about that has been like that we've covered post 2016 was the Santa Claus, and we struggled to think of the answer to it. I think it's because we told everyone to go back and listen to old episodes if they wanted, I think people exclusively did that.
I absolutely think that. Or no one likes anything you've done in the last 2 years.
That's a possibility too.
Well, no, that's absolutely not true because I love everything you do. All right. Well, hey, heads up. Here's a question about a recent podcast. In 2019's most anticipated podcast, which movie did AJ promise to come up to Auckland to watch with us?
Oh, AJ.
Richard.
Is it Playmobil, the movie?
Yes.
And he didn't
never
do it, the
did.
son of a bitch.
It's not out yet.
It did come out.
Remember when I tried to make us go see Boss Baby at 9 a.m. in the morning because I wanted the most miserable experience possible?
Okay. What is the name of Elijah Wood's character in the Happy Feet movies?
AJ.
Richard. Oh, no, actually, sorry. I heard AJ first.
Is it Mumble?
Yes, correct. It's so bad, man, because I keep just blocking out as white noise your because I just think you're thinking.
Yeah, it's a bad buzzer. I'll admit that.
Oh, well. There's one last question in these quickfire rounds. Question 10. Watching which movie caused AJ to refer to his birthday as the worst birthday
AJ.
I've ever had? Richard?
Did you say which movie or which franchise, say?
Which movie?
Transformers The Last Night.
Correct. Oh, that's so good.
Because we went to a midnight screening, and it was midnight on AJ's birthday, and then we finished the recording at like 4 a.m. on AJ's birthday.
And I had to go to work the next day.
Oh. Man, you've done some shit for this podcast, eh?
I would I wouldn't do that now though.
Okay, so here's the last round of Who Loves Who the Most, when we find out who loves who the most.
In a city celebrated for its diversity,
So this is Miami, huh? They can keep it.
the least likely people often meet through random acts of fate.
Could I offer you some coffee? How do you, like it?
Light and sweet.
But no matter how great the differences that keep us apart,
We don't shoot somebody soon, I'm gonna forget how.
I'm sorry my husband's such an idiot.
Do you think someone's trying to kill him?
God, I hope so.
there's always something bigger that brings us together.
I need a missile.
Missile very hard to get.
Well, I want you to try very hard to get a missile.
From the director of Get Shorty and Men in Black,
Pick him up. You give me your watch.
Is that a goat?
Big Trouble.
Snake, let's get the hell out of here. I think I hear one of them silent alarms.
Now available on DVD and video.
All right. Richard, who has been AJ's favourite guest on Film Franchise Fortnights?
So if this is like like created the best content and things like that, or it's like his favorite person who's been a guest, or the one that's like favorite.
Well, you've got to try and figure out.
Yeah,
that's the literal wording he got, and so you've got to try and figure out how he's going to answer this question.
I'm gonna guess Tim Bat.
Because he's a massive suck up.
Yeah.
No, incorrect. It was Kate Taylor.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah.
I do want to. Sorry, I feel like I need to address the question: who is your favorite guest star? And say I don't think it's about anyone was a particularly bad guest star, and more just that Kate was like a missing puzzle piece. It felt like whenever we've had her on, we should get her on again.
Yeah, totally. Kate's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. And AJ, who has been Richard's favourite guest on Film Franchise Fortnights?
I would guess it would be Charlie and Carlisle from
Bang.
Yeah, from
Very
what's
good.
their podcast called? A Podcast for Everyone.
A Podcast for Everyone.
And content, presumably, and Why Did I Do That? Very funny guys who are just as undiscovered as we are and just as talented as we are, if not more.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking to know that there are hundreds of us out there potentially that nobody
There are
knows.
dozens of us, Michael. Dozens.
Yeah, and that was actually my backup answer as well. Those guys were great. That was a great episode. And I really enjoyed guest starring on both of their podcasts. However, one of those podcasts that we guest starred on carked it, and we never got to release the episode.
It was us explaining the story of the lost episode of Cult Popture, and it was lost. It's the lost episode of Why Did I Do That as well.
That episode is cursed.
Absolutely cursed. 100%.
But yeah, same as you. Like, I don't want to say like anyone's my favorite. Like, you know, obviously we've had guests on who are like some of my closest friends. But yeah, like same with you with like Kate Taylor. It's like Charlie and Carlisle. Just something sparked, and I think Spy Kids is one of our funniest episodes. I think the content we got out of it was incredible.
I agree.
All right, I'll try not to be offended, but that's okay.
You're not a guest star. You're an also star.
You've never been on Film Franchise Fortnights.
All right, Richard. If AJ could erase any piece of media that he's made for Cult Pop Show, what would it be?
This is a good one.
I like how the wording of the question suggests I can't erase. I could erase it all. I got to press one button. Cult Popture goes under.
One piece of media created for Cult Popture. I know that like there's the very early video he says, it would be the one of the sketches he did early on, I'm guessing.
I'm just going to stop you right there before you
hurt my feelings, which isn't cool.
I didn't actually realize how dangerous the answering of this question might be. But yeah, it'd be one of those dumb videos he made without me.
Well,
no, it was.
Yeah. What was the answer? And then I'll tell you what my reasoning was.
The Jungle Book Film Franchise Fortnights podcast.
Yeah, see, I thought that, but then I thought that like at the same time it was like there's at the end of that specifically there's good content, but I know that it's either the sex scenes, let's talk about sex scenes, or we need to talk about laugh tracks, or like everybody hates laugh tracks. I know that there's one of those that you're like kind of ashamed of now.
Okay.
Am I right in saying that, AJ? That like it's like you're worried it's a little bit problematic now or something?
Everybody hates laugh tracks has me dressed up as a woman in it, but I think I'm dressed up as a woman because I'm playing a sitcom mum or a sitcom wife. So I feel like it's not. I would hope it's not found to be offensive, but if it is, fair enough. I'll take it down.
Offensive and sexy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, AJ, what is the movie that Richard has watched the most times in his life?
Walk Hard? No.
I mean, is that your answer?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not. It's Back to the Future.
Oh.
All right. And Richard, which franchise has AJ's favorite titling scheme out of any that you've ever watched?
So it has to be one for the podcast?
Yes.
I know AJ really I like. It's only 2 films, and I feel like actually we've said it recently that something is his favorite titling scheme, but I'm gonna go with Shanghai Noon and Shanghai Nights.
Incorrect. And also AJ is incorrect on this one. And so AJ's going to lose a point as well as you not getting the point. Because he said the Look Who's Talking trilogy, but then said Richard's going to say Mission Impossible, but Mission Impossible loses half a point because 2 is labelled with a number 2 and 3 is labelled with a Roman numeral 3.
Very cool. Well, because I know AJ's favorite, like one of his favorite things in a title is when like you keep one word but change the other one.
Which is why Looking Talking is
so
great.
like the Before trilogy.
Yeah, those are great. But Before is Before Sun twice and then Before Midnight, so that also loses the same amount of
And there's
steam.
also I Know What You Did Last Summer.
They're pretty good, but they're stupid titles.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I think Look Who's Talking, Look Who's Talking 2, and Look Who's Talking Now are the best parts about those 3 specific films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just their titles.
All right, so AJ, what does Richard think is the worst thing you have ever done?
Would it be just the Lost episode?
This is It's also a really. This is also a really dangerous question to get you to answer.
Yeah. Oh, was it the time that I me and Jess slept together? Oh wait, but he doesn't know about that.
It's funny because I knew you would say the Lost episode, but there's another answer, which is another one that's like one of those things that I am angry about, but it's also funny to be angry about.
It's from When You Lived Together, AJ.
Oh jeez, this is.
I think I might actually know this.
Oh, can Jess go for the steal?
Yeah. Jess is on 2 points, so she could absolutely sweep it here.
This might not be right, but I might be getting this confused with. But did he leave the stove on once, and you got real angry about it?
He did,
No,
but that's
this
not
is
it.
this is still great content. Richard, do you want?
I did leave the stove on, but no one was that mad.
I was mad when over the course of 3 days he left the 3 doors to that lead from the outside into our house unlocked.
But Richard, this is still not your answer.
I know. I'm just listing other things he's done.
So, Richard, do you want to give us the full answer with the full passion and rage?
Well, I want you to read it out. What I wrote down exactly.
Okay. What does Richard think is the worst thing that AJ's ever done? He ate all the fucking chicken cordon bleu.
Did I? What did I do?
Were you when you ate all the fucking chicken cordon bleu that we had in the freezer? Because you.
Oh no, that was sausages.
No, it was chicken cordon bleu, dude. There was 2 in the packet, and you ate both of them. You didn't save anyone.
I remember eating all the sausages.
Yeah, you ate all of the food we had in the freezer that day.
Okay.
Should I say the context around that day, or does it not matter?
Well, you can try and defend yourself.
I was homesick, and for the first time in my life, I'd completely run out of money. It had never happened to me in my professional life. I didn't look at. I wasn't paying enough attention to my bank account, and I was getting paid in like 2 days, and I ran out of money, and I was desperately hungry, and the only thing we had in the flat was whatever was in the freezer, and I honestly thought you would understand and that I would pay you back. And you didn't understand, and I never paid you back.
That's why I didn't understand. Actually, I tell you what, what happened as well was it was Labor Day, because I remember I had been at work all day because I didn't get holidays. But I came home and you were like, dude, like I couldn't go to the supermarket, like it's Labor Day, nothing's open. And then
it's because I had no money.
Well, you kept that from me at the time.
That was such a great Arrested Development narrator moment. He didn't, and it didn't. Oh, so good. Okay. Right. Well, moving on from hatred. Richard, what characteristic of yours does AJ most admire?
What the fuck? We've had like 6 questions that are just downtrodden on me. And then like, Richard, what's something that you can feel warm and happy about that AJ said about you? This feels very pointed, this quiz.
AJ, do you not know that this exact question is being asked of Richard as well?
Yeah, but yeah, what's my favourite character? AJ, what would Richard say is his favourite characteristic of himself? I know one of AJ's favourite characteristics of me is that I'm good at doing maths quickly.
It's because I'm real bad at maths.
Yeah, I'm going to say I'm good at doing maths quickly.
No, but it's kind of related to that, but you don't get the point. It's your encyclopedic knowledge of film and other things.
Oh, I was hoping it would be that, but I didn't want to toot my own horn.
Oh, that's real cute. So it's your
fuck
humility
you, fuck
as
both
well.
Of you. I feel no warmth toward either of you right now. I do towards Jess, though, but only because she hasn't said anything. She could say something and ruin everything.
The pressure's too high.
AJ, which characteristic of yours does Richard most admire?
I don't know. We like the same things.
Oh, actually, come on, AJ, have a try.
Jeremy, are we just watching a friendship fall apart?
Been watching a friendship fall apart since June 2016. Which all our listeners will know because apparently that's the only episodes they listened to.
Oh, this is so good.
AJ, give us have a
Come on,
serious
buddy.
go at the
What's
question.
you have said before that you admire that I can write video essays or something like that.
Well, it's somewhat
I'm
related.
I give him the point.
It's your ability to actually finish projects that you start.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Good.
Nah, give him the point because it does especially relate specifically to video essays.
Very good. Okay, so we have a final section here. We have 4 more questions, and it's called the sliding scale. And basically, it's things that I don't expect either of you to know the answer to, but they're all numerical answers, and so the closest person to the correct answer wins.
Cool.
All right,
Okay.
so, and each of you are going to give an answer to this. How many hours had Richard been awake before recording the film franchise Fortnights for the Mummy? Richard, your answer?
I'm going to say 22.
All right, and AJ?
21. I love this game. You just do this for every answer.
All right, AJ wins. It was 19 hours. All right, in what year does the SpongeBob SquarePants movie take place? AJ, you go first this time.
Is it 2021?
All right, and Richard?
It's like 2036.
Richard gets it. It's 2031.
Oh, nice.
All right, and how many movies depict James Bond visiting the USA? AJ? Oh, sorry, Richard, you go first.
3.
And AJ?
10.
Bang on, AJ. 10. Very good.
It's because I knew the answer.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I didn't know the answer.
All right. At the very beginning of film franchise Fortnights, i.e., the only time that the fans ever cared about,
They're not even going to listen to this episode. They're just going to go back and listen to Back to the Future Part 2, as in the second part of the podcast trilogy we did on it.
Okay, so at the very beginning of the whole podcast, how many franchises did you have listed on the film franchise database?
Who's going first? AJ goes first.
AJ goes first.
300.
Richard?
301.
Oh, AJ wins.
What was it? Look.
It was 272.
Fuck.
All right. And what number is the Santa Paws franchise in the official franchise ranking on your Letterboxd?
Oh, fuck.
Santa Paws.
Ah.
And it's Richard first this time.
First. 87.
Fuck! You're right!
Oh my gosh!
Well, you didn't even give me a chance to guess.
You can't guess the same, and you can't. Yeah.
Okay.
That's amazing.
Holy shit.
I still want to guess.
Okay. AJ, what do you guess?
15.
Unfortunately, Richard has it. All right. And what number is the Final Destination franchise?
Can I change my answer from what my favorite thing about Richard is?
Oh,
It's actually his uncanny ability to guess the exact number when talking about numbers of things.
yes. Like his ability to guess Rotten Tomato scores is unbelievable.
It's literally unbelievable.
As in,
right?
he has it open in front of him all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Jess is just holding up her phone with the Letterboxd rankings.
I am in a state of disbelief.
All right, Richard, you have another chance to try it again. What number is the Final Destination franchise in the official ranking? Oh, AJ goes first this time.
I might actually say, shit. There's one real bad one, but it's overall. Overall, I feel like the franchise ranking we took into account, like kind of its placing as a franchise. So I think it'll be up higher. I'm going to say 25.
All right, Richard.
36.
I guess it wasn't 25 because I didn't get the same fanfare that you got.
AJ is closer. It's 29.
Nice.
All right. And
Wow.
last question, and probably my favorite question of the... No, probably not. I don't know. How many years is the age gap between Charles Grodin and Bonnie Hunt, who played husband and wife in Beethoven? Richard, you're first.
23 years.
All right, AJ?
I haven't heard the name Charles Grodin in a long time. I'm gonna guess 30 years.
Wait, how many? What, you said 23 years, right, Richard?
Something like that.
Yeah.
AJ wins. It's 27 years. He was 56 and she was 29 at the time of filming.
Oh,
Holy shit.
How fucking gross is that?
Charles Groston.
All right, that finishes off.
More like bait. No, thank you, Vin.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
That finishes off sliding scale. So, Jess, can you give us first of all the final tally of who loves who the most? So, who out of Richard and AJ loves the other the most?
All right. Who do we think won this one? It's obvious. It's AJ. AJ loves Richard more than... I'm not going to say it. That's really
That
sad.
means I lose.
Oh, yeah,
That means
maybe.
I lose, like, emotionally I lose. Emotionally, I'm the one who cares the most.
No, but we know that you're the better friend.
It's actually really
I
terrible.
would love to have lost
It's
that.
really terrible to actually put a numeric value on how much more you care about someone than they care about you.
Yeah, you care about Richard exactly 2 questions more.
Yeah, but to be fair, I got like fucking, even though there's a real answer, you're supposed to answer this way. And he got like, what's that thing Richard always goes on about?
Yeah, but I also got, oi, Richard, what does AJ fucking suck shit at? Like 3 variations of that question were in this
That is
quiz.
so not true. I will send...
Well, it feels
I
true.
will say-
And what feels true matters more to me than actual facts.
We all know
AJ's
that.
living his truth.
We all know that. All right. And
AJ's
so,
going to lose
Jess,
this episode on purpose.
give us, from me, where my points are at. Actually, if you guys could give me a ranking of how I've done to add to my points, that'd be great. Just before we go over points.
Ranking
You guys
out of
each
what?
give him some points or not.
10 to minus 10.
Yeah. And use your movie ranking 10 to minus 10.
This is a minus 10. I had a great time.
All right, and AJ?
This is a plus 10. Plus 10. It was life changing.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. All right, so Jess,
All right,
give
so
us a final points update.
All right. So, in 4th place, Jeremy
Fuck yeah.
at -2 points. In 3rd place, Jess at 1 point.
Perfect.
Yeah. In 2nd place is AJ with 26 points. And in 1st place is Richard with 29 points. AJ won in the Who Loves Who the Most and the sliding scale, but due to Richard's encyclopedic knowledge,
That's what he loves about me.
he got 20
Yeah, not
points in the
anymore.
quickfire opposed to AJ's 12. So, you
This is a
smashed
terrible
it.
experience. Damn. I feel like I lost in every conceivable way to lose. I wasn't expecting to win the quiz, but I didn't know I'd lose like my self-esteem and all these other things along with it.
What's the lesson we learned at the end? It was never really about the quiz. It was more about the self-esteem and friendships we'd lose along the way.
Yeah.
All right. Before AJ takes another beating, and we've got bloody movies to go make.
Yeah, we do, and we'll be able to show people them at some point in the future. We're making short films, so thank you for coming along and giving us questions for our quiz.
You guys were amazing, and thank you so much. You made life so much easier for me, and you managed to really bum out AJ.
And you managed to continue my love of being right.
So, with that in mind, if this is your first episode of Cold Popture, why not consider subscribing to the channel for more of this shit? And then just go back to the start of the show and listen to objectively bad episodes. So you can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. You can find us on Patreon if you want to give us some money. And you can email us at coldpopturemedia@gmail.com. Thank you for listening, everybody. And we'll see you next week with a Film Franchise Fortnights episode on The Expendables, arguably our 101st franchise. See you guys. Thank
you so much for listening.
Thanks for having me. Great to talk to you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. We are. What did you? Wow, Richard! I can't believe you'd say something so poignant and yet somewhat racist.
But also a little bit sexy.
Somehow it covers all three of those subjects.
The food pyramid of life. the poignant. So you want to be very poignant, a little bit sexy, and racism is just it's the tip of the pyramid. You don't want it every day.
Okay. So this is our post-credit sequence where at the end of every episode, after the music stops, we do a little discussion based on a question or comment given to us by our patrons over at www.patreon.com/coldpopture. If you donate more than $5 a month, you'll get to give us a question too. And this question comes to us from Christopher Brown. And he says, what is your favorite commercial tie-in to a film? For example, in the States, Taco Bell went all out on a Demolition Man tie-in while the Matrix movies had branded Samsung phones. And of course, there's the infamous E.T. Atari 2600 game that helped put the home video game industry out of commission for a few years. So what's your favourite commercial tie-in to a movie?
Think you could probably guess my answer to this.
Tell me it.
No, guess.
Do you want me to guess?
Yeah.
Is it Cloverfield?
No.
Oh.
It's the Spider-Man 2 on PS2.
Oh, right. Of course. Yeah, nice. Spider-Man, talk about that more.
Spider-Man 2 on PS2 is, oh, fuck, man. It still holds up to this day. The web swinging mechanic is... I want to say second to none. The recent PS4 game was very good. I was ready to make a video about why its web swinging wasn't as good. But it is very good. But there's something just so there's a learning curve to the Spider-Man 2 swinging that's like. You get better at it as you play, and you just become so fast, and it's like you feel like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And for the time, it was like, unbelievably good.
Nice.
What about you?
Oh, I don't know if I have an answer. I don't really like video game adaptations, for the most part. I'm trying to think of what
about other time? You got that Jar Jar Binks lollipop.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Have to French kiss him to eat
it.
Yeah,
that's great. That's a good one. I'm trying to think of it because I as you know, but I don't know if it's necessarily talked about that much outside of your and my friendship. I have a soda can collection, and I'm trying to think if there's any like soda cans that tied into movies that I particularly like.
Have you ever had Ecto Cooler?
No, what's that?
The Ghostbusters?
No.
One?
No, I haven't. You can get like Duff Beer and Flaming Moe's and stuff. I've got some of them. But I don't know if that'd necessarily be
Have
my
you ever
favorite.
tasted them?
No. I think they just taste like Red Bull.
Yeah, I've got a Flaming Moe energy drink somewhere, but I haven't tried it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would love to. I would be more. This is appropriating the question, but I would love to do sort of what Binging with Babish does and make foods from TV shows and movies, but more focused on like the fictional brands and stuff. And because Binging with Babish typically does more like recipes, I would love to like make a can of Slurm from Futurama or something like that. That'd be really cool.
I love it. Like but you're like, I want to do sort of like what Binging with Babish does, where I would like make food from movies and TV shows, and it's like that's literally the log line of his channel.